Welcome back to Fantastic Fantasy Fabrications. I'm Mike, and if you've been following along on this channel, you know we've been working our way to building the most modular, fully playable gatehouse, tower, castle that you can make. And on this video, I'm going to be showing all of you how I scratch built these small trapdoors and ladders that look just like the terrain crate ones. And as always, if you're trying to do this project at home, links to the project overview can be found down in the description. So as my terrain tutor is always telling me, let's get cracking. I cut out some simple chipboard shapes on my Cricut, but I'll be including this shape in the PDF just in case someone needs it. And it is possible to just use this chipboard square as your base. You don't need to continue doing what I'm going to do and trace it out onto plastic card. But since I have all this scrap plastic card left over from when I made the rails, that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to use this chipboard as a stencil and just trace the shape around. After it's been traced, I'm going to take my X-Acto and with several light passes, I'll cut out the base. After your base is cut, I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the edges with a quick sanding. And now that the base is fully prepared, I'll move on to crafting the door. For this, I'm going to use a matchstick and a small square balsa wood. I'm using the same balsa wood here that I used in my door video. So we're going to cut the matchstick into 4 sections. 2 of them are going to be 3/4 of an inch and 1 of them is going to be 9/16. The 4th section, it's just trash or you can use it for something else. Cut a balsa wood square to fit. It's approximately going to be 9/16 of an inch by 5/8. Just make sure it fits snugly inside your matchstick frame. So I decided to assemble the door separate from the base and then attach it afterwards. And if you want to do it like this, you're going to need just a scrap of parchment paper with some super glue. I guess one quick tip that I like to do when using my super glue, I actually, when trying to apply it to a very fine surface, apply my super glue to something like a tightly wound Q-tip and then use the Q-tip to apply the super glue to whatever surface I wish to glue. After the door is glued down to the base, we can go ahead and add the handle. And next, I'm going to add the handle here by using just a piece of paper clip. You could go ahead and use any kind of wire, but the paperclip won out for me because it was within arm's reach at the time. By shaping my handle real quick, I'll press it down into the matchstick and make an impression that I'll use with my pin vise to drill some small holes that I can insert the handle into. And once you've got that done, all that's left is to build the hinge. So to make the simple hinges that you see on my trapdoors here, all you really need is a little bit of cardstock and a little bit more of that paper clip. As with the trapdoor base, I'll provide a stencil in the PDF. So here's where I'm going to take a second to say thanks to all my patrons, especially you, Michael, who pledges at the shop foreman level. Thank you. However, if you have a Cricut or just want to help support the channel, for $2 a month, you'll have access to all my plans on Design Space and access to the Fantastic Factory Discord. There you'll be able to talk with me and other talented crafters, so I hope to see all of you out on the factory floor. Either way, with a little bit more super glue and a little bit more off the top of our paper clip, the hinge is looking a lot better already. So one of the things you're going to notice about the stencil that I provided here is that the banding is left longer than what is needed. This is a feature, not a flaw. Just go ahead and make this detail as long or short as you desire. And after the trapdoor is fully assembled, I'll go ahead and dot a few locations where I think bolts should show with some Mod Podge. And that's it for the trapdoor. It's fully assembled and ready for paint. So next, I'll move to the construction of the ladder. And for my ladder, like with my trapdoor, I'm really just going to be using scraps of plastic card. Now plastic card you can buy in other ways. It's also called polystyrene rods? Styrene rod? Styrene sheets. Yes, it's also called a styrene sheet. So I'm just going to go through this big scrap bin I have here and find scraps of styrene rods that fit the approximate size that I'm looking for. Then by using super glue and a little bit of string, we'll make our ladders. Now I just want to take this second to have a quick disclaimer. When it comes to me, there's only 3 kinds of knots I've ever been able to tie. I can tie my shoes, I can go fishing, and everything else is a bungler knot. Okay, so if I can manage to tie these knots on these ladders with this tiny little string, then you can too. Just remember to use super glue wherever your knot tying skills fail you. The assembly of these ladders is going to take a little bit of time. It is tedious, even if it is mad easy. But eventually, your ladders will be assembled, and we're not quite done yet. I'm going to add just that little extra touch by taking my X-Acto knife, quickly breaking off the tip of it, like I meant to, and then use that to etch 2 simple lines in every run of the ladder. And finally, after you've completed that, the ladder is ready for paint. And feel free to use whatever color scheme you like best. For me, however, I chose to paint all my ladders in 3 different colors and all my trapdoors in the same color. As with the stencils, You can find the exact color schemes that I used listed down in the PDF in the order in which they were applied. But I didn't do anything special for these guys. So after quickly hitting these guys with a white primer, I got to base coating. For the 3 colors that I used, I chose Chocolate Bar by Apple Barrel, Honey Brown by Deco Art, and Brown Oxide by Apple Barrel. When it came to dry brushing, I only did one of the ladders with a dry brush. I chose the Chocolate Bar by Apple Barrel and I hit it with a Coffee Latte by Folk Art, and then followed up with an Antique White by Apple Barrel. I moved on to painting all the strapping in a Khaki by Apple Barrel. Then I hit all of them with my oil washes. And if you're interested to see what goes into those, you can check out Black Magic Craft's video on how to make washes, or you can check out my video on interior floors. And next for the trapdoors. For my trapdoors, I chose the same color scheme on the wood as my 3-tier color scheme that I chose with the chocolate bar. And as you can undoubtedly see, I decided to paint the gunmetal before I dry brush. Luckily, as far as mistakes go, this one was really easy to fix. Before I laid down my second coat of gunmetal, I went in there and carefully dry brushed, and then doused the whole thing with the same oil wash next. Alright adventurers, that's everything for this Chutes and Ladders video. Before I roll that end footage, let me just say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I appreciate you. Hit like, subscribe, share this video with a friend, and stay tuned, because the secrets to having this badass gatehouse will be in my next video. So until next time, keep all your fantasy fantastic.